I'm speaking the truth about his own actions. These aren't mine. I'm not running for office. And now all of a sudden you're called racist or bigot? I'm sorry, that's why I care. You have to face the facts. Somebody's going to have to ask him, or are you going to wait until, the election's over and then start vetting your presidential candidates?
Oh my God, so he's just racist. No one brought up racism, at all. All right, guys. So apparently Obama allegedly did crack, according to Tucker Carlson, according to a guest that alleged it on Tucker Carlson's new Twitter show after he got fired. So you already know we have no other choice but to talk about it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and for more videos like this, let's get into it, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Tucker Carlson apparently pushing a bogus conspiracy that President Obama is secretly gay. Not only is this total BS, but I think if it was true, we would just love him even more. I know I would. Okay, first of all, he could be bisexual. He could just be queer. So, the man who claims he had sex with Barack Obama in 1999 tells his story. He tells his story on Tucker Carlson. Okay, so I guess this is the man who is alleging that he did crack with Obama and he snorted, I don't know, smoked crack cocaine? I don't know what the story is. Hold on. Let's see what he has to say.
Good morning. It is September 6th, 2023. Remember this day, because by the time the day is over...
Of course, the dude alleging that Obama did crack literally looks like a crackhead himself. Dude is getting the 5-second fame that he's clearly begging for.
It's going to be one that we're all going to remember for quite some time. Tucker Carlson, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not because of the interview per se, but because you, along with J, A, L, and N, you and they know who I'm referring to, actually made me realize that now is the time. After 15 years of hell, after 15 years of nothing but lies,
I don't know why people like this just can't get to the fucking point. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. Just get to the point, dude.
Distortions, misrepresentations, outright false statements. It's time. Everything, and I mean everything, gets put out on the table. So, thanks to a friend of mine, Luke, tonight, after Tucker's interview airs, we're gonna sit down live.
I was just listening to the TikTok music too, honestly. I already cannot take him seriously, but then the viral TikTok music behind him just makes it so much worse. Now, to be fair, I don't know if Mr., I don't know what his name is, Larry. I don't know if Larry Sinclair himself put the music on, or if that's someone on TikTok that put the viral sound behind him. But yeah, it's definitely incredibly annoying, and it does not make me take him seriously at all.
And the whole story, from beginning to end, everything. And I am going to go line by line, from beginning to end. And I am going to make it clear that, contrary to everybody's swearing and claiming this and that about me.
Oh my God, we still have more than 2 minutes left on this video.
And that it's a lie. Well, it's not. And all of the lies that have been told, I'm going to actually demonstrate how they're lies. The same ones that people are, again, republishing and rehashing and spreading on X since yesterday. And I'm loving it. I really am. But when I'm done tonight, I'm going to go home. I'm going to pour myself a Grey Goose screwdriver.
He said, when this is done, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna pour myself a Grey Goose screwdriver. I don't know why he was so painfully specific too. He said, I'm gonna make myself a Grey Goose screwdriver. He said, that's not how you know I'm serious. I'm pulling out the Grey Goose screwdriver.
I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna have 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 drinks in my house. And then tomorrow, I am going to get with my doctors and I'm going to schedule the surgery on my right arm and hand. And then I will start concentrating on what I need to do as far as being able to have what I need for recovery. And
I don't know. I don't know if he's all the way there. I don't want to be mean. I just don't. It's not giving fully aware. You know what I mean? It's giving kind of like not that aware. Like he's just kind of rambling.
And what I need to get the left hand and arm done. But I can't do them both at the same time. But Tucker Carlson has shown me and made me realize that it really is time to put it all out. And you know what? If you can't accept it, and a lot of you won't, but it doesn't matter. It won't change the facts. No matter how much you try to distort them and misrepresent them, it won't change them.
He looks like Harvey Weinstein's evil brother, like from an alternative universe.
The difference between me and most of you, I've never hidden from or denied or tried to excuse anything I've ever done.
Bro, we didn't even know you existed until today. And that's because Tucker Carlson is flopping and he needs any kind of Hail Mary to get back up.
Or said in my life. I've always owned it.
Y'all are really doing my favorite war criminal dirty right now. I don't like that. You guys are doing my favorite war criminal dirty, and I don't like it. I don't like the Hunter Biden vibes, the Hunter Biden laptop vibes I'm feeling from this video. I don't like it. It's not sitting well with me. It's giving me the ick.
It always will. That's just the way I've always been. So, enjoy. I will see you tonight with Luke. That's Luke at We Are Change. And let the chips fall where they may. But September 6, 2023 will be a day you remember. Have a good day.
Well, September 6, 2023 is today. So, Tucker Carlson's relevance ended the minute he lost the spotlight on cable news. Now, like many other irrelevant has-beens, he's resorting to humiliating himself with nonsensical antics in a desperate attempt at getting people to remember he exists. I wouldn't worry about it. He's done. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of have to agree. Like, it does kind of seem like a Hail Mary. It seems like an odd Hail Mary, like a weird, I need to become trending on Twitter again, so I'm gonna do this wild story.
You're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke.
Oh, come on. You're even alleging that he sold you the coke? I mean, you doing the coke with him is one thing, but now you're alleging that he sold you the coke, so you didn't walk up into that party like you didn't have the coke on you already. At least make it believable.
Putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional?
Let me not.
Or that he's bisexual, or like, what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't as long.
The guy's running for pres.
Not the editing. Not the seizure editing.
I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't as long.
Oh, this trailer is killing me. This trailer is killing me.
The guy's running for president, and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course it's the media. Of course it's the media's fault for not caring about your Hunter Biden laptop story of Obama, because you're clearly a fucking crackhead alleging a bunch of crazy shit. Meet Larry Sinclair. All right, let's meet Larry Sinclair. Below, you will see a screenshot of his interview with Tucker Carlson next to his mugshot from years ago. Okay, that does look like him. A younger version of him. Using Carlson's show, Sinclair makes disgusting allegations against former President Barack Obama, but here's what you don't know. Public records and court filings reveal that he has a 27-year criminal record with a specialty in crimes involving deception. Bruh. In February 2008, the media company offered Sinclair $100,000 if he could pass a polygraph test verifying his claims about Obama. Sinclair took the test, and the polygraph organizer stated that his results indicated deception. Sinclair was convicted for forgery twice, including one crime that netted him a 16-year prison sentence. During the 2008 election, he had outstanding warrants and has close to a dozen aliases. Close to a dozen aliases. Not one, not two fake names. Almost 12 fake names. That's a lot of aliases. That's one too many. He had no evidence for substantiating his claims 15 years ago, yet Carlson decided to platform him for his show. Why the heck would Carlson platform a liar, forgery expert, and convicted criminal to make allegations which are almost certainly false? I'm very curious to see what Barack Obama has to say about all of this. I don't know if he's going to respond or not. Keep in mind, Tucker Carlson is a self-admitted liar who should not be taken seriously ever.
I mean, I lie. If I'm really cornered or something, I lie. I really try not to. I try never to lie on TV. I just don't, I don't like lying. I certainly do it, out of weakness or whatever.
Obama, the gay crackhead, Larry Sinclair holds a press conference to reveal drug-fueled gay romance with Barack Obama. Full press conference in 2008. Wait, he had a press conference over this?
Good afternoon. My name is Montgomery Blair Sibley. I'm the attorney for Larry Sinclair, and I just want to give you an overview of how we're going to proceed this afternoon. First, the National Press Club rents space. They do not condone or endorse the views of the people who rent the space. And we've been overwhelmed with people criticizing the National Press Club, and we just want to make it clear, Larry is here because he rented this room, and as a result, he's allowed.
Shauna said, also, why do they say gay like it's a bad thing still? Like, grow the fuck up. That's not even the part that annoys me. The thing is, Obama could be fluid. Let's say this story is right, okay? Let's say by the grace of God, some miracle happens, and Larry Sinclair, the dude with over almost 12 aliases and a rap sheet for deceptive practices, ends up being honest about this story, which honestly is highly unlikely, right? Let's say for the sake of this conversation, it comes out as it's true, okay? Obama doesn't even have to be gay. He could be bisexual. He could have been exploring. He could just be queer. He could be pansexual. He could just like what he likes. I don't really understand why people are like, oh my God, Obama's gay. Like, he doesn't have to be gay. He could have just been exploring. Like, who cares? I could tell you straight up, I don't care. I don't like the dude because, I don't know. I feel certain types of way about Obama. He is definitely a war criminal, but he's my favorite war criminal. I don't know. I love him. I love him as a person. I hate what he did to the Middle East, but I love him as a person. I think that's the best way to describe it. But I feel like everyone's like, oh my God, he's gay. And it's like, why does he have to be gay? He could have just been exploring. If this story was true, which we all know it probably wasn't.
Good afternoon. First thing I'd like to do is thank a very personal thank you to Reverend Pastor James David Manning for showing up, for his support. Thank you so much for being here. It means a great deal. Good afternoon. My name is Larry Sinclair. I'm a former recreational drug user, drug trafficker, and I'm a convicted felon. for crimes of forgery, bad checks, and theft by check.
Let me give this man a minute before I start commenting. What an introduction, man. I'm definitely gonna take everything you said seriously. Is that George Santos? No, literally, like, it's giving George Santos. Oh my god. Okay, alright, let's...
But I'm also an American citizen. I love this country, and I cannot stay silent regarding Barack Obama, knowing what I know. Today I will discharge my obligation as a citizen to witness this knowledge to you and raise questions for others to investigate and consider. I'm going to briefly describe my background and experiences with Senator Obama. In 1999, what appears to me to be a coordinated effort to discredit me, and finally a list of questions. After this brief statement, I will take and try to answer any reasonable questions. Please understand, I will respect your questions and try to answer them. I will not be disrespected, nor will you. My background. I'm 46 years old and I currently reside in Duluth, Minnesota. I am a U.S. citizen. I've made mistakes in my lifetime. I have been convicted and served prison sentences for writing bad checks, forging checks, using stolen credit card numbers in Arizona, Florida, and Colorado. These events occurred over 20 years ago, between 1980 and 1986. After going public on the internet with these claims against Senator Obama earlier this year, I became aware of a warrant out of Florida, dated from 1986, which I have resolved, and it has now been dismissed. I also have an active Colorado-only warrant for alleged theft and forgery. I am not ignoring this warrant, but am addressing it with the court in Colorado as well as with the district attorney's office.
This man held this press conference while he has an active warrant out in Colorado for his arrest. This is white privilege. I don't know how else to explain that. This is some white people shit, respectfully. This is just white people antics, okay? Only a white person would have the audacity to hold a press conference while an active warrant is out for his arrest. That is insane.
I have a pending motion to dismiss this warrant, which I am waiting to have calendared by the Colorado court. I have lived and worked under 3 different legal names. My birth name is Lawrence Wayne Sinclair. Later on, I had my name legally changed first to Larai A. Silvas and later to Larai Vizcarra Avila.
He said I became Mexican. He said my third name, I whipped out the Hispanic 1% heritage, baby. Sinclair who?
Both name changes were conducted legally in the Pinal County Superior Court, Florence, Arizona. I legally returned to my birth name in the Fremont County District Court, Canyon City, Colorado in the year of 1997. In regards to the Obama incident, I flew out of Colorado Springs, Colorado to Chicago on November 2nd, 1999, arriving in O'Hare early in the morning of November 3rd. I went to the Chicago area to attend the graduation of my godson, my best friend's son, from basic training from the Great Lakes Navy Training Facility. I made reservations at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Gurnee, Illinois, based...
I'm surprised this dude even had a best friend. I don't know, people like him tend to not have that many friends.
...solely on the location to the training center. On November 5th, 1999, I hired the services of 5-Star Limousine. I had hired them both for November 5th and November 6th of 1999. On November 6, 1999, I asked the limo driver, whose name I now reveal for the first time, Jagir Paramit Mutani, if he knew anyone who would like to socialize and show me Chicago. One note, there's a typo in the statement that you will get at the end of the statement. We will put an updated and corrected version on a website that you will also be given access to, as far as the name is concerned. Mr. Mutani understood that I was looking for someone who knew Chicago and would enjoy socializing. Mr. Mutani said he knew someone who was a friend of his. On November 6, 1999, after picking me up at the hotel in Gurnee, and this is significant, Mr. Mutani used his cell phone to make a call. That call was made to then Illinois State Senator Barack Obama.
Okay. Let me get this straight. So you, a man who literally has a warrant in Colorado, a man who has 3 aliases at this point, one of which is a fully Mexican alias, a man with a criminal record and a rap sheet, right? You went to Colorado, you got a random taxi driver. You told the taxi driver that you want a friend that you can hang out with socialize. And that taxi driver calls Obama the U.S. state senator. He also made himself a Gregor screwdriver back in November 6, 1990. I'm just, listen, like, if the story was believable, if he said I walked into a bar and Obama was sitting there, I feel like it would be more believable, right? Kind of. Maybe. But you're telling me that you told the taxi driver that you want someone to socialize with and someone to show you around, and he just hit up a state senator, Barack Obama, to come chauffeur you? Y'all know how politics works. Senators are not available and accessible to the public like that. I mean, this is actually an insane story. Like, this is insane. Yes, I'm biased. He's my favorite war criminal, but, like, this is actually wild.
To set up an introduction between myself and Senator Obama. Upon arriving at the bar and exiting the limo, Senator Obama was standing next to Mr. Mutani, and I was introduced to Senator Obama by name. Later that evening in a bar which I believe was called Alibis. And I state believe because I have failed so far to get Citigroup to provide the credit card receipts that has the actual name. I mentioned I could use a line or two to wake up. Senator Obama asked me if I was referring to coke, and I stated I was. After stating I was, Obama stated he could purchase cocaine for me and then made a telephone call. This too was significant, from a cell phone to a presently unknown individual, during which Senator Obama arranged the cocaine purchase. Senator Obama and I then departed the bar in my limousine and proceeded to an unknown location where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me.
I love how he's the one with the money in this story. I love how he's the main character. He's like, I'm the one that ordered the limousine. I'm the one that ordered the chauffeur. I'm the one that ordered somebody like Obama to come. I'm the one that ordered the cocaine. Like, dude, come on.
I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine. After which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois. The following day, November 7th, 1999, Senator Obama appeared at my hotel room, unannounced, uninvited, where we again ingested cocaine and I again performed fellatio on Senator Obama.
He said Senator Obama wanted me. He said, I don't chase, I attract. I'm sorry. This is serious. I'm so sorry.
Significantly, both the driver's telephone call to Senator Obama and his call to the drug dealer should appear on the driver's and Senator Obama's cell phone billing statements.
James Lee said, I'm not a big fan of Obama, but I don't believe this guy. No, that's literally how I feel. Like, I think anybody that genuinely listens to this story, like, acknowledges that it's absolutely crazy. There is no way this is real. There just is no way. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is insane. This is such an insane story.
In the fall of 2007, September 2007, I contacted the presidential campaign of Barack Obama to request solely that Senator Obama publicly correct his stated drug use record to reflect his use of crack cocaine with me in November of 1999. When I made the first contact, I left with the presidential campaign of Senator Obama a telephone number for the campaign to return my call. The first number I provided was a Texas cell phone number. From the period of Labor Day weekend 2007 through November 18th of 2007, I did provide a total of 4 different callback numbers to the Obama campaign. As I had moved...
Yeah, that definitely seems legit. You definitely probably did not come off crazy to the fucking campaign manager whatsoever, because that's totally normal behavior.
Moved, and I had changed the numbers to reflect locally my place of residence at the time. In late September to early October 2007, I received a call from a male who identified himself as a Mr. Young, stating he was calling in regards to calls I had made to the Obama campaign. This first call was in fact an attempt by Mr. Young to obtain from me the identities of anyone I contacted concerning my 1999 allegations against Senator Obama. This first call shocked me in that this Mr. Young asked me why I had...
I would just like to say one thing, and I'm saying this as a girl that used to work at NBC. Well, I used to intern, but I was like on their payroll as an employee, just to be clear. So news stations would make a lot of money off of a story like this, okay? But with that money comes great risk, because then you can be liable of spreading a bunch of lies and you can get sued for defamation and other things. So the fact that no news station has taken this story up should already be a huge red flag for all of you, because we live in a capitalist country, and these news stations, these media conglomerates, number one, there's like 5 of them in all of America, and number 2, they're constantly fighting each other for higher ratings and more money. So the fact that anyone thinks the media ignored this because the media just doesn't understand, that's not true. The media would eat this story up if it was true, because that would mean more ratings, that would mean more views, that would mean virality, that would mean more money, okay? So the fact that this story has never been picked up should already be a huge red flag, just to begin with, just first of all, to begin with. So that alone, like, I am sure this man went to all of these, news stations and was like, oh, this is my story. But I'm pretty sure that none of those news stations were able to corroborate his story, and therefore they never went forward with it. Or when they did the one polygraph test, it came out as deceptive. Now, just to be clear, polygraph tests are a little bit kind of like shaky. Sometimes polygraph tests are right, sometimes they're wrong. They're not like a great measure or a marker for anything, because you can actually trick polygraph tests. But at the same time, it should be a huge red flag that no news station has covered this story. You get what I mean? Am I making sense?
Why I had never mentioned to the
Somebody give this man some water. Goddamn.
shocked me as I had never... Whoa, hold on. I'm lost here. Thanks. Because this is getting... I can't even see it. The first call...
Yeah, polygraph is based on your heart rate, and you can actually deceive a polygraph test if you can control your heart rate, which some people can do. There's been criminals who have gotten off with polygraph tests because they know how to... Back in the 50s and the 60s and the 80s, they used to use polygraph tests a lot before we had DNA technology. And there are literally books about how you can deceive a polygraph test, because since it goes off of heart rate, if you can control your heart rate when you lie, you can pass a polygraph test or it'll come out as inconclusive. So when, people start finding out that polygraph tests are actually kind of like funky, that's when they stopped using them in cold cases and criminal cases and etc., because you can fool a polygraph test. They're not 100% foolproof.
Was in fact an attempt by Mr. Young to obtain from me the identities of anyone I contacted concerning my 1999 allegations against Senator Obama. The first call shocked me in that this Mr. Young asked me why I had not asked Senator Obama to disclose the sexual encounters I had with Mr. Obama in 1999. I was shocked as I had never mentioned to the campaign or anyone working for the campaign any sexual encounters, as my call was prompted by drug allegations only. The call ended with Mr.
No, he was a state senator in 1997. He was a senator. He was a state senator, though.
Mr. Young stating I would hear from someone in a few days. In mid to late October 2007, I received a second call from this Mr. Young, at which time I clearly became aware that this individual was personally involved with Senator Obama rather than just an employee of his campaign. The tone of the conversation had a sexual nature. Mr. Young did not once advise me how he obtained my phone number, which by this time had now changed to a Delaware number. In late October 2007, I received a text message from the gentleman identified as Mr. Young, in which he stated he was intimately involved with Senator Obama and that Obama was discussing with him and his pastor how to publicly acknowledge Senator Obama's drug use in 1999, and that Obama wanted to be sure I had not discussed the sexual encounters or drug incidents with any media at that time. In mid to late November 2007, in another text message from Mr. Young, he advised me that Senator Obama will publicly correct his statement as to the last time he used drugs, and I did not need to concern myself with publicly disclosing it myself. The last contact I had with Mr. Young was in early December 2007, when he made it clear to me that Senator Obama had no intentions of publicly acknowledging his 1999 use of crack cocaine, and that Mr. Young was in fact doing nothing more than milking information from me for Senator Obama's use. I later learned that A. Donald Young, the choir director of Reverend Wright's Trinity United Church of Christ, Obama's now former church, and who was openly homosexual, learned that he was murdered on December 23rd of 2007.
What does this have to do with anything?
I have cooperated with the Chicago Police Department on this matter by providing them the telephone numbers I was using during the fall of 2007. And I release them now publicly in the hope that someone may be able to connect the dots between these telephone numbers and Mr. Young. Those numbers are 954-758. Actually, that should be 956. That's another typo. 956-758-1105. 956-758-1885. 956-758-8002. 302-685-7175. 612-466-1043. In what I now realize was a naive and uncounseled decision, I posted in January 2008 a video on YouTube where I related the above information regarding my liaisons with Senator Obama in 1999. The response was overwhelming, and I quickly became the recipient of what in hindsight appears to have been a coordinated attack on my character, with ever-increasing falsehoods circulating on the internet.
I am so confused. I don't know. My ADHD kicked in, and he just started reading a bunch of numbers, and I don't know.
In response, I agreed to take a polygraph test sponsored by whitehouse.com. The results of that test have been partially revealed to the end of labeling me a liar and taken as gospel by all. I'd like to make the following comments about that polygraph test. First, I have been subsequently advised that whitehouse.com...
My guy, if you have to make so many disclaimers about all the shit you did wrong, no one's gonna believe you. This is like his 10th disclaimer. He was like, listen, yeah, I have a warrant out and I do have 3 aliases, one of which is a totally Mexican alias. And, I also have a bunch of these fraud cases too. And, the state of Colorado is looking for me for fraud. And, also I did take a polygraph test that came out like it was false. But I also have something to say about that. Like, at some point, you just got to throw in the towel. You just got to be like, all right, this is beyond me. 40 more minutes? Yeah, but this is kind of entertaining, though. I'm not bored. If it gets boring, we'll watch something else. But I'm a little... Are you guys entertained? I don't know. I'm entertained as hell. This is kind of funny. Like, there's no way in hell anyone's going to take this seriously. Tucker Carlson is desperate. Tucker Carlson is so freaking desperate at this point. Like, it's honestly hilarious.
...was a website dedicated to anti-Clinton pornography.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know if the name he said was Mexican. We'll just say Hispanic. That was me being ignorant. Sorry. But it was a Hispanic Latine ass name, okay? I'm a fraudster, but I know it was Obama's D-I-C-K in my mouth. No lie. Well, today I took a polygraph test. I also did an entire 8-ball of Coke, so duh, it's gonna say I lied. This is going to ruin Obama's re-election. Oh my god, I know. How is Obama ever going to get re-elected as president? This smear campaign is really going to ruin it for him and his future.
Until earlier this year. In fact, until 2000.
His Twitter platform is flopping, so he's trying to be as reactionary as possible. I mean, Tucker did an interview with Andrew Tate recently, and we tried to watch it, but it was so boring. It was so boring. I don't know if he got new producers or if he's producing his own show now, but it was so freaking boring. Like, I could only watch through 5 minutes of it. And if I am into this kind of stuff and I could only watch 5 minutes of it, you know, a lot of people could not watch it. You know what I mean? This is very curated, specific content to make him... Think of it this way. He's kind of like Destiny. He's kind of like Destiny. He has to consistently produce reactionary content in order to stay relevant because his whole entire base is developed off of that, right? And people like Destiny, like we're seeing now, always end up flopping because that sort of platform, which is literally just based off of reactionary content, is not sustainable. It's just not a sustainable way of going about making content, period. It's stressful, it's unsustainable, and you will not develop real fans, right? Because if you don't produce reactionary content for your fans, they will not respond to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that is the issue here. Because a lot of these people like Destiny, like Tucker Carlson, they just become so reactionary to the point where their content doesn't even make sense if it's not reactionary. No one's going to be interested in it.
January of 2008, to be exact. Second, I have now come to understand that lie detectors are junk science at best, which is why courts of law refuse to use them. Third, a review of the results by a George W. Matchik, PhD of antipolygraph.org, raises serious questions about the legitimacy of this particular examination. Indeed, overlooked by almost everyone is that WhiteHouse.com's own examiner, Dr. Gordon Barlin, Salt Lake City, Utah, observed that on the drug question regarding Senator Obama, that the computerized score found that there was less than 1% probability of deception by me. That's about as high a passing score as one could possibly obtain.
I don't believe that.
Finally, in February 2008...
Why would they lie about that? If you weren't lying, why would they just publish the story? It's a great story. Why would they not? Well, it's not a great story, but when you think about like reactionary type of stuff, it's a great story. Why? No, he's lying. This man is so full of it, bro. He's not even trying to make it sound believable at this point.
Told anonymously that Dan Parisi of WhiteHouse.com received $750,000 from the Obama campaign through David Axelrod's AKP Media and Message One, or Message and Media, I think, to organize an effort to publicly discredit me. When I confronted Dan Parisi with this allegation, he did not deny it, but instead withdrew the second exonerating polygraph report of Dr. Gordon Barlin, failed to post the video of my polygraph as he and WhiteHouse.com promised they would do, and even removed posts from their website altogether, claiming that I had had enough of the attacks by Sinclair's supporters and Sinclair himself, quote unquote. The polygraph results, as misrepresented, were immediately seized upon by the blogger community, and I became the subject of vicious lies about me. I was forced to file a lawsuit in an attempt to stop those lies about me that had been circulating. That lawsuit sought to obtain the proof of what I was saying about my contact with Senator Obama through subpoenas for the identities of the anonymous bloggers so they could be linked to the Obama campaign and relevant records of the cell phone companies to prove the truth of my allegations. To date, though the lawsuit is now over 90 days old, Kennedy has refused to permit the suit to move forward so this evidence may be obtained. In conclusion, in sum, you can discredit my story, and then you can make your decision on who should be next president of the United States. The burden is now off of me, as I have told my story without the distortions that have been intentionally heaped on me, and what my lawyer tells me is an ad hominem attack. Shoot the messenger so you don't have to hear the message he is bringing. I'm now done. It's for others to find the corroborating evidence of my story by locating the limousine driver, Mr. Mutani, by checking the telephone numbers related to Donald Young and Senator Obama. I leave you with these questions that I've asked of Senator Obama, but in which he, of course, refuses to answer. Who wants to be the next president of the United States? Has refused to answer. Number one. Why won't Senator Obama provide his cell phone numbers and telephone records for all his personal and official cell phones held by him for the time period of no more than November 3rd through November 8th of 1999 when we met? 2, why won't Senator Obama provide his cell phone numbers and telephone records for all his personal and official cell phones held by Senator Obama for September 2007 through December 23rd of 2007?
Why the hell would he do that? Why the hell would anyone in the right mind do that?
The murder of Donald Young. 3, why won't Senator Obama provide all email communication, both personal and campaign related to and or from AKP Media and Message from January 18th?
He's basically saying that Barack Obama would provide his cell phone number so they could corroborate the information. But to be honest, it doesn't matter if Obama even provided his cell phone number, because you're still not really proving that he's the one that was physically with you, whether you have the number or not.
2008 through February 29th of 2008 for Senator Obama, David Axelrod, and David Plouffe. 4th, why won't Senator Obama provide proof of all payments made from AKP Media, Obama for America, David Axelrod, David Plouffe, and Senator Obama's accounts for the period of January 18th, 2008 through February 29th of 2008. On a website that we posted today, LarrySinclair.org, you will find the documents that I have referred to in the statement. A copy of the homepage for that website is attached. And Mark's going to be passing them out. Thank you for the time and your attention this afternoon, and I will now take any questions.
Oh, this is about to be good.
Mr. Sinclair, could you explain why, if this incident happened in 1999, you waited until 2007 or 2008 to come forward? It's a question of credibility, sir. Why didn't you come forward back in 1999 or 2000?
Well, number one, in 1999, I really didn't care whether he was a senator from Illinois or not. To be honest with you, I wasn't a resident of Illinois. As far as why now, I was living in Mexico up until 2006. It really was of no interest to me. I know plenty of politicians, both locally and internationally.
Why was he living in Mexico? That's my biggest question. What the hell did he do that made him flee to Mexico? Because I don't trust it.
Nationally, that are pretty much crooked. The whole issue was based on his drug use and his claim that he had not used drugs since his college days, and that was the whole issue that brought this forward.
Are you receiving any financial support for your efforts from anyone? And if so, do any of those people have connections to the Republican Party?
Well, he's going to deny that.
I'm glad you asked that question. Number one, I am not connected with any party, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Democratic, none. Nor are anybody that are contributing to the cost and the expense of this. Every penny that has gone to pay for this press conference, my travel expenses, have come from average American citizens. Most of them actually, according to their own statements, are declared independents, in the sums of from $12.31 to $100.
Question, sir.
Mr. Sinclair, could you explain why, if this incident happened in 1999, you waited until 2007?
Of the individuals across this country that have helped get this story out.
Would you be willing to share your mental health records with the public?
Actually, I'm going to post later this afternoon a list of all of my doctors, going back through all of my medical records that are available through 1999. Anyone with valid, legitimate press credentials that wants to check my mental health history, I will be more than willing to sign an authorized medical release for that purpose.
Will we get more than 30 minutes?
Huh?
More than 30 minutes?
More than 30 minutes of what?
With the document.
Well, actually, if you're valid press and you want me to release my psychiatric records, I'll release them to you as long as you pay for them. I have nothing to hide.
Well, it was a joke. It was about McCain and the 30-minute.
Oh, sorry. You can tell where I'm at today.
I mean, I want to know the result of the polygraph test. That's what I would have asked for. I would have been like, can you give me the result of the polygraph test? Because I don't care what this dude's mental health was. I want to know what the polygraph said.
Will you state whether you had sexual relations with any other politicians here today?
Actually,
your name has come out with Senator Larry Craig.
For the record, I have not been engaged or involved with any other politician. In fact, at the time that I met Senator Obama, I had no idea that he was actually in Illinois politics.
Dude, state senators don't just be running around giving head to people or getting head from people, from randoms. God, I'm so annoyed. This is so annoying.
Behind you.
Usually politicians will like, listen, politicians do shady shit. I'm not saying they don't. But usually if they do something shady like that, it's with a staffer or with somebody that works in politics, like a lobbyist or a staffer or a organizer, right? Or if they really do go off on a bender with a hooker or whatever, with a sex worker, they would do it with somebody who has a lot of, like, a reputation of being quiet, right? A reputation of like, oh, you can have fun with her or him and you can be rest assured that they won't say anything, right? Because they definitely have people like that they pass around, but you and I don't know about them because that's how they get their bread, that's how they get their money. They have a trust within this community that, like, okay, if you sleep with this person or if you have oral sex with this person, they're not going to be going around talking about you, right? Because they have too much on the line, they know too much, whatever. So this story is just like, from the beginning, from the get, it's just unbelievable, right? Like, you came into this town, you're a hard criminal, you got the state of Colorado looking for you for active warrants, whatever the situation might be. You have 3 aliases at this point. Today he had about 12 aliases, right? And you just like randomly go to Illinois and the taxi driver says, oh, this is my friend. He's down to let you give him fellatio while he's smoking crack, and he's also a U.S. Senator. Like, that is a bit insane. Like, it's just unbelievable. You know what I mean? If he was a staffer, if he was a lobbyist, if he was an organizer, if he was, I don't know, a sex worker, like, there's certain parts of this story where if he would have said, okay, this, that, and the third, I would have been like, okay, there's a chance maybe this is right. But no, there's no part of this story where I have paused and gone like, okay, that makes sense. There's no part of this story whatsoever that I've paused and I was like, okay, maybe this kind of adds up. None of it adds up. Quite literally no part of it adds up.
Your name so often?
Well, first of all, in my younger years, I was considered like, wild. And it was more out of respect to my family because, as you can see, with everyone putting my past history all over the place and mistorting it, I changed my name. The first 2 times I changed my name was while serving prison sentences in Florence, Arizona.
You said that he was introduced to you by name. You didn't know he was an Illinois politician. And why would he be introduced by his true name to you, and you would know that he was a politician over the years? How did you realize that it was him? I mean, because if he's going to engage in sex and drug taking and he's a renowned politician in Chicago, it strikes me as a little bit strange that they give you his real name through a limo driver. I mean, that story doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And how would you remember for 10 years when you lived away and then recognize him on TV, or how?
Okay, first of all,
the man is asking the questions that I have been having this whole time.
Yes, he was introduced to me by name, okay? He was introduced to me as Barack Obama. And as far as me not knowing that he was a politician locally, I was not a resident of Illinois. When I became aware of exactly who he was when he gave the keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2004 while I was living in Mexico.
Hi, Dove God, how are you?
Watching it on Sky TV. No, I did not say that. I told you he was, in fact, introduced to me by name. I have always stated that he was introduced to me as Barack Obama by the driver and by Barack Obama himself, sir. Always.
Hey, Larry, how much did this whole event cost you? And what are you doing now for a living?
Well, as far as anybody wanting to know the final expenses, I would have to check because I've had a few things changed in the last 24 hours. But as of Monday morning, I think it came to a total of $4,126.89. And what I do for a living, I am disabled permanently due to severe nerve damage and spinal injuries. And believe me, it's killing me standing up here this long, but I'll take the question anyway.
I don't know. That's also very convenient. Everything about this story is convenient. You get what I mean? He could have just said this whole entire speech sitting down. He could have just gotten a high chair. I'm annoyed. I'm irritated. I'm hella irritated. This whole thing is just very convenient for him. Every single aspect and part of this story is just simply convenient. That's the best way I can put it.
Jim Malone with Voice of America. Given your criminal record, the fact that the crimes that you've been involved in involve deceit and fraud, why is it that you think that anyone would believe what you're saying now?
Well, to be honest with you, it's not so much whether you believe me or not as much as you hear me, okay? I mean, it's not my intention to convince you. First of all, I'm not going to defend my lifestyle for the last 46 years. I've made mistakes.
No one's
but I've always admitted to anything I've done, including these crimes, okay? I can't tell you why to believe me other than the fact, I'm not saying believe me. I'm saying, you know what, here's the information. Look at it, do your own research, but do it based on the facts.
I know, he caught a little bit of an attitude right there. Like, dude, you realize what you're doing here, right? Like, why would anyone believe you, respectfully? No part of this story was even, like, made sense. It didn't even follow. That which is presented without evidence can be dismissed without argument. Can't. Hi, Just Styles. Welcome in. No, literally, you're right. What crime was committed? Who knows? Pretending to be a legal expert? Yeah, he's pretending to be a lot of things right now.
Stop doing it based on this constant misinformation and misrepresentation that's been circulating on the internet. I'm going to give you everything in writing, and you make your own decision.
What time did you meet him on November 6th, and what time did he arrive at your hotel in Gurney the day following?
We met in the early evening on November 6th. As far as a specific time on November 7th, I cannot provide that to you. And I know where that question's coming from, but I cannot provide that to you.
How, when, and where did you incur this permanent disabling nerve and spinal injury?
Sacramento, California.
Oh my God, they are grilling the shit out of this man.
Sacramento, California. Injuries from October of 2000 through August of 2001 while employed with B&G Delivery Systems on Harris Avenue in Sacramento, California.
And what is your source of income now? Is that
my source of income?
Compensation? Or?
My source of income is disability, Social Security disability.
That's your sole source of income?
That is.
You don't make that much money on Social Security disability. That's like $800, $900 a month. And that's maximum. No, actually, never mind. My mom gets $1,000. But you get what I mean. It's not that much.
We all recall the claims and counterclaims and what happened with the Clinton allegations vis-a-vis Monica Lewinsky. Can you offer any physical evidence, any identifying physical features, and so on that can support your claims?
I have already announced that I would identify certain physical features, but I will not do it at this time. It will be posted later at the advice of my attorney after we've discussed the specifics.
This guy sucks, dude. This guy actually fucking sucks.
One quick one, and then one slightly longer one. Did you save any of the text messages?
The text messages, I've contacted Sprint Nextel. And the changing of the phone numbers, they actually have the procedures that they can recover the text messages from those numbers. But
of course he doesn't have the text messages. What does this guy have? He has nothing.
They do not stay on the phone when the numbers are changed.
And then when you were discussing the results of your polygraph, you first impugned the veracity of the test by saying that it was, quote, junk science. But then a few moments later, you said you scored very well in one respect. So it's unclear whether or not you actually are staking some of your claims on the polygraph.
No, actually, as far as I'm concerned about the polygraph, I'm not saying that it's good or it's bad. I am saying from the day that it was done and the day after, once I returned home, I was asked questions about the procedure.
I mean, what did I tell you guys, right? What did I tell you guys? This was before I even knew about this press conference, right? We were just scrolling through Twitter, X, whatever you call it now, and we stumbled upon this video, right? I said that if no media has covered this story, it is a huge red flag because this is like a media gold mine, okay? This is like a story gold mine, all right? The first black president is smoking crack with a random white dude. Yeah, come on. Media would eat that shit up. But the fact that he hosted a whole entire press conference and he got no media coverage is because no one could corroborate the story. It literally does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. I mean, going beyond the fact that dude has 3 aliases, he has a wanted warrant in Colorado, he has a criminal record, putting all that aside, right? He doesn't have any evidence either. Like, he's literally... It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. It's not adding up. No part of the story makes sense, to be quite honest with you. And the reporters they know it. That, like, every single question they're asking is coming out of just distrust and not understanding how the story even works, to be completely honest. Because it's insane. It's just simply insane. Like, it does not make sense.
In the process. And I had a polygraph done once before, back in the 80s. And I specifically instructed the examiner, I knew darn well you didn't put the blood pressure cup and whatever on the fingertips on the same hands. And he was advised of the nerve damage and the fact of the circulation, and I have bilateral ulnar nerve entrapment in both arms. All right. I can't tell you how they did it. I will tell you that his report from Dr. Gelb to the report to Dr. Bartlett completely contradict each other.
Jay.
The information.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for coming around. I will say, though, Jay, I provide real commentary, which has made this experience better for everybody, okay? I would just like to acknowledge that.
From Dr. Gelb, who is not a doctor at all, was never sent in totality to Mr. Bartlett. I cannot tell you. I'm telling you that this gentleman with antipolygraph.org, these are his opinions. These are his findings. These are not mine. Okay. I have said all along that the polygraph, I did not feel comfortable with the way it was done.
A couple of questions. First of all, given that you've got this record in the past of taking so many drugs yourself, why do you care whether he's taken it? And secondly, he seems like quite an interesting person to spend a couple of days with. Between the fellatio and the drug taking, what did you talk about?
I'm sorry?
Between the fellatio and the drug taking, what did you chat about?
Actually, pretty much nothing, other than the fact of what I was doing for a living, what I was doing in Chicago. Like I said, the entire conversations that we had were pretty basic and casual. His comments as far as what he did for a living, he never once acknowledged being a politician. In fact, he specifically stated he was in public service. You know, with my view, public service can mean just about anything. What was the other part of the question?
Why do you care so much?
Why do I care? I care so much because this political season has turned, this country upside down. To be honest with you, we have gone back, I would say, a good 50 years in this country on race relations alone over being called racist if you ask a candidate who chose to run for president. I'm not sure if you remember, but this country had a very nice lady in the state of New York by the name of Shirley Chisholm that once sought the nomination of the Democratic Party. And this was back, I think, in the late 60s, early 70s. And here was a true African American who you could ask her questions based on her record, on her credentials, on her beliefs, and you would have never been called racist. Today, I'm speaking the truth about his own actions. These aren't mine. I'm not running for office. And now all of a sudden you're called racist or bigot. I'm sorry, that's why I care. You have to face the facts. Somebody's going to have to ask him, or are you going to wait until, the election's over and then start vetting your presidential candidates?
Oh my God, so he's just racist. No one brought up racism, at all. Literally at all. He said, so it's racist to just question a black man. He's not a true African American. He's not like Shirley, the real African American. That was wild. Oh my God. This is such a mess. He just admitted to GRT. He said this country is going back 50 years because you cannot question a black presidential candidate. That's not the issue. The issue is that your story does not add up, my guy. That's wild. That is wow. I don't even know what to say.
Simply why you decided to take this on, and it's been reported that you've been disbarred in the state of Florida. I'm wondering if you're a part of the bar in D.C.
Wait, this guy used to be a lawyer? Disbarred, that means he used to be a lawyer. Sinclair later expanded the story in the press conference in 2008 hosted by the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., accompanied by his kilt-wearing lawyer, whose law license was suspended in D.C. and Florida at the time. What? Oh my God, so his lawyer, who helped him set up the press conference, wasn't even barred. His license was suspended in D.C., so he's got a lawyer with a suspended license. That is crazy. I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. Oh my God, what a mess. What a mess.
I'm happy to answer those questions as I expected they would come up. I have been suspended by the Florida Supreme Court on March 7th, 2008.
Hi, Alexon. Welcome to the chat. How are you?
And the suspension was a result of me being too litigious and allegedly not paying child support. That matter is now pending at the United States Supreme Court. But as a result, I have been reciprocally suspended by the District of Columbia Bar and the Federal District Court in the District of Columbia without an opportunity for a hearing or an opportunity to present my side of that story. There is on the website 147 pages which documents what's going on in my particular professional life, and it really isn't the subject of what's going on here today. But if you're curious, it's a good read, and I encourage you to read it.
Is it fair for me to inquire about the kilt also?
You certainly can. I know it may seem odd to you, but I don't know why men wear pants. But I think it's a function of male genitalia size, and if you're normal to small, pants probably aren't uncomfortable. But those of us at the other end of the spectrum find them very binding.
Excuse me, can I say something on your question to the kilt? Actually, I asked him to wear a suit and tie, and he says, why should he be uncomfortable? And I said, because you're paid to be uncomfortable. Look at me.
A little more seriously, though. It's just, at a very human level here, it's obviously you have tremendous credibility problems, including fraud and deceit. There are questions about you. It's very hard, I think, for probably some of us in the audience to take.
Okay. So his lawyer isn't licensed in D.C. in another state for apparently not paying child support, and he's wearing a kilt because his DICK is too big and he's uncomfortable.
This whole situation seriously. So the question again is, why are you doing this, and how can you expect us to take this seriously?
I'm glad you asked that, and I'm going to tell you how I expect you to take it seriously. I expect you to ask me questions.
Hi, Nabil. Thank you so much for the resub.
I expect you to do your job and actually find facts as opposed to looking at Daily Kos or Fire Dog.
This dude has a lawyer without a license, wearing a kilt because apparently his balls are too big for regular clothing. He has a track record of just a bunch of fraud. He has a warrant out in Colorado. He has 3 aliases. He's apparently disabled and he's not even supposed to be standing for that long. He's in chronic pain. But no, we are expected to believe him and his story about how he was sucking Obama's DICK while Obama was smoking crack cocaine. This is insane. This is insane. Like, this is crazy. There is no way anybody in their right mind will listen to this story and say, this makes sense. This story is actually insane.
Lake or Huffington Post or all of these pro-Obama sites that are putting and twisting. Sir, I have not hidden from anything I
Hi, Chuck. Welcome to the chat.
have ever done in my life. Never. You can go back to the judges in any one of my cases, and they will tell you I have never wasted a taxpayer dime on a trial.
I think there's going to be a group of people that are going to run with this because there always is, but I genuinely think any sensible person, regardless of whether you're biased or not, will listen to this story and understand that this story does not make any kind of sense whatsoever. There's just so many parts of this story that do not add up, do not make sense. Doesn't even have a credible lawyer that's wearing normal clothing. His lawyer is wearing a kilt because apparently his balls are too big for regular pants. Like, this is a circus. This is literally a circus. I don't know how else to explain it.
Or even a preliminary hearing. If I did it and I got caught, I said I did it, okay? And I understand you asking about my credibility. You know what? My crimes were 20 some odd years ago, with the exception of the alleged crime in 2001, which I have not ran from. even though I'm being portrayed as hiding and running. I'm not, okay? That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to actually get facts and then make your decision, rather than fake Washington Post articles saying that I've been investigated 8 times over 25 years for blackmail against politicians, which is not true, but yet you're continuing to repeat it over and over again. Even though it's been proven not to be true, it doesn't matter. It's what is continuously being recycled out.
Okay, so basically this dude is claiming that he went to go vacation in Illinois for 2 days, and he told his limousine driver, his like taxi driver, limousine driver, whoever was driving him around, that he wanted a friend to show him around the city. And the taxi driver, the limo driver, said that he made it very apparent that he wanted to socialize. And so the limo driver, I'll just say the driver ends up contacting Barack Obama, which at that point, who was a state senator for Illinois. Not a U.S., like not a federal senator, but a state senator. And so then what happened was Obama came and he gave Obama money. Obama went and bought an 8-ball of Coke, brought it back to him. And then Obama pulled out his own crack cocaine, started smoking it in the car, while this dude started giving him fellatio while Obama was smoking the crack. And then the next day, Obama just shows up to his hotel room unannounced. No warning, didn't even ask him, comes into the hotel room. Same thing happened. Obama starts smoking crack cocaine and he starts giving him fellatio again. We don't know the time. We don't have any proof of the text. We don't know. We know who the limo driver is. Kind of. Ish. Not really though. The story is just insane. Like, it's literally an insane story. And of course, Tucker Carlson ran with it. So the reason why this is going viral right now is because Tucker Carlson found this dude and did like a Twitter Files episode with him where he's telling his story again. Mind you, he did polygraph tests. The polygraph test came out deceptive. The result of it said deception. He's had multiple allegations of blackmailing politicians and trying to blackmail politicians. He has 3 aliases at that time. Today, he has more than about a dozen aliases. At this point in time, he had 3. Today, he has about 12. Like, it's just, the whole thing is just insane. The whole thing is just freaking insane. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Out there. As long as you tell the truth, which I'm doing, you can talk about anything about my past that you want to. It doesn't bother me. I admit to it. You know, you can't live your life and then run and hide from it later. It doesn't work that way.
Well, you say this, you want us to get facts, but most of what you're alleging is difficult to corroborate. I mean, would the limo driver have
Hi, Elgato. Welcome to the chat. How are you? See, this reporter is about to ask the real questions.
witnessed the crack smoking and the fellatio, or were you and Obama the only people?
Mr. Mutani actually does have personal knowledge of the actions and the transactions that took place in the limo. Let me explain something to you. I was actually in contact with Mr. Mutani in the first part of this year. Since posting the YouTube video and the vicious attacks on the internet and the allegations that are constantly circulating out there that nobody bothered to fact check before they continue to post them, this driver has decided, and his family's decided, it's like all of a sudden they want to, disappear. It's my understanding that Mr. Mutani's family...
Wait, hold on. He just said what?
And the transactions that took place in the limo. Let me explain something to you. I was actually in contact with Mr. Mutani in the first part of this year. Since posting the YouTube video and the vicious attacks on the internet and the allegations that are constantly circulating out there that nobody bothered to fact check before they continue to post them, this driver has decided, and his family's decided, it's like all of a sudden they want to, disappear.
I'm telling you, everything about this story is convenient. I don't know what else to say.
It's my understanding that Mr. Mutani's family was in Tupelo, Mississippi as recently as 3 weeks ago. I do know that there were public records at one time, and where those public records have disappeared in a couple of weeks because we had a private investigator down there actually going through public records that were verified just 2 months ago, and now all of a sudden they're not there.
How convenient. Just, I don't know, it just seems like the world mysteriously conspires, you know, to just not give this guy any kind of freaking evidence to corroborate his story.
A few questions. One, would
100%. They are 100% trying to make this Hunter Biden's laptop 2.0, but the thing is, it's just not, dude, I'm sorry. Anyone with a right mind that listens to this story knows that it's a load of horse crap. Like, this is insane. This story is insane. I'm not even a huge Obama fan. Like, don't get me wrong. If I see him, I'm fangirling. But he was also terrible for the Middle East. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, you can conventionally not like Obama and still listen to this story and understand that this story is a load of crap. I don't even care who this story is about. This story could be about Bush, and I hate Bush. I do not like that man. But I would still listen to it and be like, this isn't adding up.
do you make all of your financial records available to the public and to reporters? I mean, I guess a lot of us probably feel suspicious of the way you finance a National Press Club event, the way you pay for a private investigator to go to Tupelo, Mississippi.
I have no problem with that whatsoever in posting my financial records.
Actually, wait, that's such a great question. Because he said this press conference was in 2008, right? If he's living off of Social Security disability, how is he able to afford a $4,000 press conference back in 2008? $4,000 in 2008 was kind of like today's $10,000. That was a lot of money back then. That was a phenomenal question. How can you afford this press conference if you're living off of Social Security disability? Isn't America just the greatest reality TV show of all time? I mean, I think that's a great way to explain America for sure. Because he's a con man and a hustler, it's just a little bit insane. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can prove, if a doctor can genuinely corroborate that you have a disability, the government can't decline it, if that makes sense. So, I mean, as long as you get a doctor to be on your team, you're solid, which is really hard to do. In order to get on Social Security disability, you have to genuinely really prove that you're disabled. Like, it's not easy. Given how much, like, frauding the government for Social Security disability is not an easy thing to do. I'm just letting y'all know. And I know this because my mom had to get a whole entire lawyer to prove that she has stage 4 cancer and she needs Social Security disability, right? Like, that is not a game. I don't think this guy is a representation of every single person on Social Security disability because it's just so hard to fraud the government trying to get Social Security disability. But given how much this guy has done, I wouldn't be surprised if that's also another fraud too. But this guy is just a fraud in general. I don't think he's a great representation of the average person that gets Social Security disability, if that makes sense.
And follow-up question, Veritas
lost a lot of weight. I mean, yeah, that's what cocaine and freaking crack will do to you. No shade, but that is one of the side effects of doing cocaine and crack. I just love also throughout the whole entire time this man is talking about the story, you could still listen to me at the gym. But, I'm just joking. But honestly though, throughout the whole entire time this man has been telling this story, he has been propping himself up like crazy. He was like, I was the one that got the limos. I was the one that gave Obama the money. I was the one that did this, that, and the third. I was the one that was having the conversations. Like, it's kind of insane how much he is like, it was me. I was the big dog in this story. I was like, no, in reality, you kind of ain't shit, bro.
Media Group, I understand that Joseph Giganti has disclaimed any connection.
Okay.
But it seems awfully odd that he would be, the spokesperson for Alan Keyes' political campaign, that your organization would be called Veritas. It sounds awfully like a red herring.
Low-life murdering coke abuser, homosexual. Jesus, what the hell? Oh wait, Veritas is the one that published this? Yeah, you're right. Veritas is a right-wing company. These reviews are all like very good too. I don't know, this seems like a grift, dude. Yeah, I mean, Veritas is not a good company. Veritas will publish anything that's like right wing to own the libs kind of crap. Dude, this is the third time. This is the third person that said this. Where do I start? I found this interesting. Do I believe it? I lean towards yes. That's the third person that started off the review like that. Hold on. Wait, I know I read that review like 2 other times. Hold on. I'm not crazy. Wait. Fairly credible. Dude, the company that published this is Veritas. How do you say that, Veritas? Sinclair is very openly homosexual. Why do they keep saying the word homosexual? I don't like that. 2014, 2013. I wonder how many times they said accountable.
ChatGPT wrote these reviews. Ain't no way a Project Veritas book got this many readers, much less reviews.
That's what I'm saying. It just looks so sus. It's just giving suspect, if I'm going to be honest with you. I can't believe he actually came out with a book. He's probably doing this so he could sell his book, to be honest. Lawrence W. Sinclair was born in September 1961, South Carolina. Of course. The third of 4 children, Lawrence was an independent-minded individual from a very young age. Today, Sinclair resides in Port Orange, Florida, currently running for U.S. Congress in the District of Florida? When did he try to run for Congress? And in 2010 general election as an independent. It's the audacity for me. Certain people like Lawrence Sinclair, George Santos, they have audacity. They have courage. They have some sort of inflated ego that just makes them do wild shit. That's what I need. I need 10% of that, to be completely honest, because this is insane. The fact that this dude ran for U.S. Congress after all of this, that's crazy. You are crazy. Plaintiffs Daniel Parisi, White House Communication Incorporation, whitehouse.com, filed a complaint against several defendants, including Jeffrey Rentz, Larry Sinclair, to conduct stemming from publication of their book, Sinclair, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the book he wrote about Obama. The foreword of the Rentz writing, plaintiffs assert 5 counts against all defendants, including libel, false light invasion, misappropriation of privacy, business disparagement, tortious interference, and with economic advantage, and civil conspiracy. Damn. After due consideration of the law and pleadings, defendant motion to dismiss was granted. So whitehouse.com tried to sue him, but it got dismissed. Interesting. I know, I'm not saying whitehouse.com is great. I'm just saying it's just a bit interesting how whitehouse.com ended up.
Herring, or what are your comments on that?
The name was just...
It wasn't that Obama enjoyed sex and cocaine. It was more so the fact that he did crack cocaine. Like, he smoked crack cocaine. That's what intrigued me, because I was like, okay, I don't care if you snort coke, but like, smoking crack cocaine is a bit different than just snorting coke. But yeah, it is obviously racist. He's obviously a fucking racist. That's been made very clear.
Just to my knowledge, the name was just drawn out of a hat. This is not something that was done. First of all, Mr. Yadante, as far as I know, has no connections with me. I've never met the man. I've never had any communications with him whatsoever. And he definitely does not finance me. And he has not financed this event. Okay. In fact, this event has been financed completely through contributions to PayPal, and I will most definitely post those contributions without the giver's name, of course.
Of course, without the giver's name. How can you?
Because would you ask me to expose individual citizens of this country that contribute $25 here or $50 there? I mean, the maximum contribution that's been, there's been one contribution of $1,000, and everything else is $500 or below. There's been one contribution of $1,000, and everything else is $500 or below. In fact, 99.9% of it, I would say, is $100 or below.
So he has been getting contributions. He said he wasn't getting any contributions.
I understand you have a terminal brain tumor. Can you tell us what kind, in what lobe, and how that might affect your mental health?
I will release my medical records when someone asks for a signed release. My tumor has been diagnosed, it has been confirmed, it has been verified by the Chicago Tribune, and I will not discuss my medical history at this point other than saying that there will be a list of my doctors up on LarrySinclair.org later this afternoon, and anyone interested in contacting those doctors for medical records can do so at your own expense, and I will release them.
I have a question. Are you alleging that Senator Barack Obama has something to do with the murder or death of the gentleman you were talking about from his church?
Mr. Young?
Yes.
It's my belief that that's exactly what has transpired, and that's why I have contacted the Chicago Police Department. It's also why I provided Detective Robert McVickers with the information that he specifically requested.
I mean, if he did have a brain tumor, it wasn't terminal because the dude is still kicking, if he even had one. Yeah, he's also claiming that Barack Obama murdered someone, allegedly.
And yes, that's exactly what I'm alleging. I am definitely alleging that it is my belief, okay, that Barack Obama and Jeremiah Wright either knew who or had the person that killed Donald Young killed. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And sir, I'm wondering if you could remind me which records you would like to have released by the Obama campaign. It sounded like the list was rather extensive and it spanned a number of years.
Well, no, actually, the only thing we asked him to do was authorize the release of his cell phone records from November 3rd to November 8th of 1999, and we would actually go for those records and obtain them if he granted permission. The other records, I believe the only thing we're asking for is his email account records and cell phone records from, September 2007 through December 23rd of 2007, and January 18th through February 29th of this year.
That's it. That's all he wants.
Pardon, it's interesting. Wouldn't the right love to comb through those records, I'm sure, to see what they could find, even if it's completely unrelated to what you are saying here today?
Well, first of all, I don't know who's referring to the right or the left, because I'm kind of like, I'm one of those middle kind of people. I don't tend to fluctuate on either side. And as far as combing through those records, we've asked those records to be authorized to be released to us in a federal civil case. And I have no intentions of disclosing his personal records. I mean, we're subpoenaed.
Yeah, of course he's a centrist. Of course he's a centrist that's literally just doing this for the greater good of America. That reporter has a point. The right would love to make this right and run with it, but they can't because this dude is full of shit.
Want to subpoena them for evidence purposes, nothing else.
This guy sucks.
I'm sorry if I missed the answer to this earlier. Who is paying your fees?
On Larry's website, there's a PayPal button to donate to his legal fund, which is me. And like Larry's other PayPal account, I've gotten maybe $5,000, nothing over $500, and most of them, like Larry's, are small ones. And we got a few checks in the mail, but nothing over $100.
Exactly.
Are you in negotiations to write a book or any other paid media?
Sir, and let me make this clear for everyone, I am not negotiating with anyone for any selling of stories, book publications of any kind, paid media appearances of any kind. What I want the media to do is to
Really? Is that why you ended up publishing a book, you fucking liar?
take the story, understand it, get the facts straight from me as opposed to the internet, and you make your decision whether or not it's something that the American voter needs to be informed of. You do that, I'm done. Okay? I have not attempted to make any money from this. I don't want any money from this. I don't even want...
Dude, one hardcover book goes for almost $1,000.
Want any notoriety from this. I want people to... I really want you to let this guy ask a question. Okay.
I had a few questions.
Yeah, they're taking donations online to pay for the legal fund, and they're saying that they only got a couple $100, and the biggest donation they got was $1,000. That's what they're saying.
First of all, you said that you became aware when Obama gave a speech at the Democratic convention. Why didn't you keep your cell phone records with when Mr. Young called you? Like, were you billed for the cell phones?
Actually, the cell phone records, you need to understand something. My cell phone numbers at that time, and in fact, my cell phone currently, is through a division of Sprint Nextel called Boost. Those records are available.
Dude had Boost Mobile. Yeah, he was definitely a scammer. He said, I got Boost Mobile, bro. Not Boost. Come on, dude.
Available to me online for a 45-day period. Now, they do have the records, and they actually have confirmed that. And I've agreed to have them. I've over to Chicago Police Department and actually authorized their release to them, which they don't need me to authorize. I have personally contacted Sprint Nextel approximately 2 weeks ago, asking that they dig up the records off of their system for each of those phone numbers from those periods and provide them to us. And I was instructed to make that request over a web form on the Sprint website. And if anyone here has Sprint...
This dude had a bunch of Sprint Boost Mobile burners, and he's asking Sprint to give him back the text off of Boost Mobile burners. He's out of his goddamn mind.
Or Sprint Nextel, you will know that Sprint is probably the worst cell phone provider company to deal with. But I will be getting them, and like I said, they have confirmed that those records are available.
Are you going to post those on your website as well?
I will.
And do you have the names of your best friend that you were visiting in Chicago? Has he testified or just said on the record that, yes, he was in town in Chicago because of my son?
I will tell you this. John Crutzen from the Chicago Tribune should be able to confirm that that's been verified. I will not release my godson's name. Not with the attacks that have been leveled against my family and my childhood friends in South Carolina. I'm not about to let these people do that to him. I will tell you the last name is Dukes. That's all I will tell you. D-U-K-E-S.
All right. And last question, in your first YouTube video, you did say that the events took place between November 3rd and November 8th. And now you said that they started on November 6th.
No. What I said was that I was in Chicago from November 3rd to November 8th. And see, this is another incident of misrepresenting, people twisting it. My statement was, while in Chicago, between November 3rd and November 8th of 1999. Okay? I've always stated as far as dates, it would be November 6th and November 7th of 1999.
All right, well, listen, guys, I'm not going to go over the Tucker Carlson video because I don't want to get a copy strike, but if you want to watch it, go to Tucker Carlson's Twitter because I'm not covering that, but thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more political drama commentary, and I will see you guys next time.